Lads, we are back. Too bad the North Division is not yet because they still haven't started playing hockey.
Well,
they will.
Their regular season isn't over yet.
Yeah, if you're the Canucks, you've been going strong.
At the time of recording, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous stuff. Have you guys watched any of those Canucks games? They're still going on? Good.
No.
I saw the Twitter. I saw the reactions from everyone. I didn't see the game.
People still tweeting about them?
Yeah, they were really like
media.
they were the typical jokes from people that you expected. Where when Vancouver went down early, people said, "Guys, I don't think they're making the playoffs."
Not bad. That's not bad. I mean, they were still playing hockey, and none of the other bad teams are. That's how you have to think about it. Yeah. Guys, so I think last time we recorded, Washington had played game one, and it was in the middle of the Penguins Islanders game one we were recording.
Yes.
The Islanders won that game, so that was pretty cool. Palmieri with a pair of goals. It's really funny how Lamoriello's moves are already working out for him.
It is, especially considering for the rest of the regular season after Palmieri joined the team, he wasn't a big contributor, but you always had that. Yeah, he was. Yeah, but you always had this feeling that that move wasn't necessarily just made for the regular season. That move was made for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And man, it's just funny because it's when he first did that trade, he said the most Lou Lamoriello thing ever. It's like we had a lot of other options out there in the market, but when New Jersey said that they'll include Travis Zajac in the deal, I had to go with that one.
That is pretty Lou, eh?
Yeah.
I don't believe a lot of that, but I feel like he was always going to get Zajac.
They were in on Hull, right? They were this.
It was apparently the offer that they sent to the Islanders, or that they sent to the Devils was the offer they had sent for Taylor Hall.
Right.
Which is hilarious because the Sabres just looked so bad there. So bad. But you know what? We'll talk about the Caps again a little later. Taylor Hall's been really good. Him and Krejci have just been, surprise, a really good winger with an underrated centerman equals very, very good. It's weird. Well, we might as well stay on the Islanders and the Penguins route because it's a tied series. Would you guys make the decision? Barry Trotz decided to go away from Sorokin, who had won the first game, and had went with he's not a good guy, Semyon Varlamov for game two. And that first game, he didn't move on it. It was the easiest goal ever. It was
very weird that he made that decision. I didn't necessarily think Sorokin played poorly in game one, and then they put Varlamov in, and like you said, that goal, I think it was Brian Rust, right?
Yeah.
From almost the line, and it just goes right above his glove.
He flinched.
It's like, oof.
It was
goosebumps.
He what?
The goosebumps. I don't know. I kind of felt that too. Or you already go with the one guy you have. Game one, you won it. Was there something that you really saw that this had to be changed at this point? Because I don't know, Varlamov went in cold.
It's almost like, Florida are having some goaltending things right now, but just go with the hot hand. I didn't see a reason for it. I know there was that. They had a bit of issues with that Leonard a couple of years ago when they kind of played him a bit too much, maybe a game too much back when he was still there. And it seems like they've gone the opposite route here. It was really cool. They had a stat that I didn't realize Sullivan had been around this long. Him and Trotz have met 5 times in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. The Washington days.
Yeah, and the last 2 that have gone 7, Barry's won them both.
Yeah.
That's true.
He
was there when they swept him, right? Barry Trotz? That was his first year.
That was his first year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When, remember the Penguins were doing those weird moves?
Yes.
The Derek Brassard trade, so forth.
Well, they were still trying to find that third line center. Remember
when they gave up a first round pick and a prospect, Philip Gustafson for Derek Brassard? Yeah. Also Ryan Reeves, who they gave away Clint Clauston for.
That was a dumb one. That Reeves trade is underrated with that because it's like they had just won 2 cups and it's like, you know what we need? Ryan Reeves. And I don't think he finished the season there.
No, he was in that 3-way trade with Ottawa. A 4-way trade. I don't know.
Yeah, and then
when
Vegas.
he went to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
That's so dumb. They're such a weird team. And then also, we should probably mention, Sidney Crosby's hand-eye coordination is just, if there's two parts of Crosby's games that you'll always remember, it's probably his backhander that is like better than most people's wristers, and his hand-eye, because he had another wicked tip in that first game too, where it's just, he makes your jaw drop all the time, Sid. It's incredible. I don't know how we're not used to this, but it's just, I love him so much.
It happened while we were recording too, so I saw it. I didn't realize he was holding he was holding a stick with one hand. I didn't realize that at the time. So when I went to go watch it after the episode, I'm like completely blown away with what he did.
Mm-hmm. We'll stay in the East here because now it's a 1-1 series. And it very much felt like, I think the Penguins had near 50 shots. They very much know, like, you always don't really take seriously how many shots are done in an Islanders game because it's more about quality. But it did very much feel like the Penguins brought the fight to the Islanders in game 2. And I do think Tristan Jarry, apparently that was his first win in the postseason as a Penguin, which I did not realize because they had Murray and Fleury, and then obviously, they get swept and they played Jarry too late against the Habs. I was really weird to think, and you think, wow, they could really use a really good goaltender with some experience right now. And then Marc-Andre Fleury is just what's up.
You're not wrong. Not wrong.
That's why they should have done the 3-way deal at deadline that I suggested.
I know.
Yeah, I would have actually appreciated if someone else had taken Eric Stahl. Technical difficulties. Anyway, guys, Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, an even series to start after 2. I'm not very surprised, are you?
I was surprised by the shots in game 2. Like, Pittsburgh had 44?
Yeah, but I don't know what time you cut out on the thingy, though. You have to be careful with the Islanders and shots because it's like there's volume of shots, great, but then you need to account for the quality of them, right? The Islanders are like, yeah, you can get a shot on, but we're going to get you to shoot from the outside, right? But it felt like Pittsburgh were definitely in control of game 2.
It worked last night though, for Pittsburgh, shooting from the outside.
Yeah. Well, again, if I would assume that a goalie could stop the most wouldn't allow a goal like Varlamov did though.
That's fair.
Inexcusable.
That is.
Yeah.
My guess is he's not starting game 3.
No, stay with Sorokin.
Probably, yeah. He is the future.
I don't know if you guys heard. I think Justin Bourne was saying it on Hockey Central. I think yesterday or Monday that apparently Barry Trotz said when he was asked who he was starting, and his response was a Russian goalie.
Yeah, I love Barry.
Cool.
Okay. I just noticed your wine glass, Adam, by the way.
Not really a wine glass. It is a glass that if you go to Mr. Steer in Montreal, they serve a chocolate mousse in. You put a whipped cream, some chocolate sprinkles. And one time when I got takeout there, they gave me the glass. So it's just a little glass that I put.
Changing it up.
Wow.
Yes, because a very passionate Valentine fan said I couldn't drink out the beaker anymore. I was going to be screamed at. So we're back to this.
We won't guess who that is.
It's fine. Thing in the East Division, though.
Yeah.
Washington
Mike?
and Boston. What?
No.
Was it Mike?
Probably.
Yeah.
And you was frozen again. Hello?
No, we're good.
That?
We're good.
Okay, good.
I am here.
That's good. And we're back.
Yes.
Still here somehow, internet. Love to see it. Okay, staying in the Eastern Division, though. Another tied series, Boston and Washington. The Bruins were accused of not testing the Caps and Craig Anderson enough in game 1. Well, in game 2, they did it. Another overtime game, this time at the tail end of it. Brad Marchand. Again, I was texting my Capitals friend again, and there's no worse feeling than, when Brad Marchand is being his normal rat self all game. And then after a terrible Brendan Dillon clear attempt, you could say, led to Marchand burying one. There's no worse feeling than when Brad Marchand scores on you. Maybe Tom
30
Wilson, but
39 seconds in.
39 and the quickest. I think it's the quickest game-winning goal, the quickest playoff game-winning goal in overtime or whatever. Like it beat Bobby Orr's goal, like Game 5 or something, like within a few seconds. So that's cool.
Another
But
thing to
anyway,
add to Brad Marchand's list.
Yeah, great.
Why do you start overtime with Brendan Dillon? Is that just sorry? I just realized noticing that.
Who was he paired with? If it's like Orlov or Carlson, you're like whatever. But I mean, there are worse options than Brendan Dillon.
That is true.
Not bad. It's just,
that's why I'm surprised. Well, at the same time, like I'm kind of surprised. I'm like,
it was a boneheaded play.
He's just steady. Yeah, he's a steady guy.
Yeah.
He plays with Justin Schultz.
So they started overtime with okay. Well, listen, it's the Tides. The physicality has not stopped though. That's been fun.
No, it's something we talked about. I think when we previewed the playoffs as well. Like I think we kind of expected this going in, especially the way Washington's season ended with that New York Rangers debacle. I don't know what other word to use. Brouhaha. There we go. Brouhaha. It kind of just it kickstarted them for playoff hockey. And then the Bruins are the Bruins. Yeah, they lose to Dano Chara, who's like a 7-foot monster, but they still have Brad Marchand. They still have they still have their other guys who in playoffs past have created issues, and they're just doing it again for Nick the Ritchie. Other team, right? Nick now and Nick Ritchie. Yes. Yeah.
I remember when they called him Corey Perry 2.0 because like the way he screened Cam Talbot in the 2017 playoffs. He's just that type of guy. I know what the theme song is of the series.
What is it?
You know the Olivia Newton-John song?
Oh. Which one?
They made a parody of it in The Office with Holly and Michael. You know what? The Let's Get Ethical?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's Let's Get Physical.
Oh, okay. Is it me, or are we getting a lot of coincidental minors this year in the playoffs? It feels like there's a 4-on-4 every period now.
If maybe they called, Colin Campbell called and said, "What? Just watch Brad Marchand. Just watch him. Like, just watch the Bruins. That's all you got to do."
Who was the Caps player that like they got into a lockup with him and Marchand just like got his stick up on the guys? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't remember who the player was, but I know exactly.
Just the Anthony Mantha one really annoyed me.
Well, it was Mantha, I think,
because he was pushing him, and then Marchand just like wasn't like he just did the stick around the referee. Yeah, and he did like 3 times.
Exactly. It's just so typical. Again, it was like Buchnevich cross-checking Mantha in the face. You get the retaliation there. It's so typical NHL. And you know what else was really bad? So I thought we'll talk about the goal in a second actually here. Did you see the Wilson embellishment?
Yes.
I've said this so many times, but my biggest pet peeve in hockey is when there's an infraction and like a trip, and then you also call the embellishment. Tom Wilson was not embellishing.
I don't think he was embellishing either.
It was with the leg, right?
Yeah, listen, I'm not one to defend Tom Wilson.
No.
But I don't like.
There's like a gymnastics injury.
There's not many times I'm going to do that on this podcast, but I really don't think that was embellishment.
Do you think the McAvoy saying McAvoy goes hard to the net is an underrated point? Does that Bruins goal count in your guys' books? Or
which one?
Controversial one. When like McAvoy just went full non-breaks into the net, and there was, I think the whole concern was touching the pad there. Like we saw in the North Division within a few days, there was a Joe Thornton goal, and I can't remember, it was one of the Habs ones as well, where moving the pad very much got a goal called back. But here in the playoffs, I didn't have a massive problem with it, but then when you look at the history and the way that those type of net front, like interference, quote unquote, stuff has been reviewed, it was inconsistent with what we've seen in the regular season.
Let's see if I can go find it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Daniel?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. That call was kind of like charging the goalie in that sense. That was just something that kind of, I think it It was the right call at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to know because like sometimes it's just like the amount of like battles in front. It's just like which one gets muddled and which one is like which one would be called.
Like again, you talk about 2017 when Corey Perry fell on Talbot. That should not have been a goal.
Yeah.
And the fact that you say like that is, or that Boston goal counted is a bit.
Yeah.
Did we lose him? Oh,
no, he is here.
He muted himself.
Yes.
Hey, have you found it yet, Alex?
No, I haven't. I'll keep looking. Just move on. I'll
But we're
Just
having
the
some
lights.
lighting. We're having some lighting issues. My
Oh.
ring light has a weird block that if I put the wrong one in, for some reason the block itself overheats. So I have my behind the scene producer trying to help me out. We're trying to do it very behind the scenes and very quietly. But what we can say now, we missed this. Brian Rust. It was like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That like hand over the puck penalty, or it was like he was going for a shot in basketball.
He just threw it. Yeah.
He's going for the 3-pointer, Steph Curry style.
He nearly gave the Islanders the blue shell.
The blue.
Like he literally did. It was 6-on-4.
I was playing Mario Kart on the train yesterday, and man, there's no worse feeling than when you're like back half of the last lap and you see a blue shell coming. It is the worst feeling in the world. But that's a very good point. But I mean, the Islanders' power play is kind of crap.
Yeah, they got pushed.
Yeah. So Eberle wasn't great. He had some mad turnovers there. Anything else you guys want to touch on the Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins, though?
I'm excited for Game 3. I don't know how. I already knew going in. There was a lot of those mini stories here and there, but to actually see them unfold in, multiple of these in one game, it's been fun.
I found the goal, by the way.
Okay.
It's at the end of the towards the end of the third period, right?
Taylor Hall's goal, yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, in the replay, it looks like he gets pushed from behind by the Caps player. Am I looking at the right one?
Was it Chara? Yeah.
Because if that's the case, let's see. It was 23. Sheary. It was Connor Sheary.
Connor Sheary.
If that's the case, that's a tricky one. Because if he was going in, yeah, but then he gets hit right into the goalie. It's such a weird one to call.
We talked about this last episode with when Anderson got nudged by his player and then it dislodged the net. Right. I wonder if there was a bit of the Bruins kind of lost a call before, maybe they got it there.
Are you saying there's makeup calls?
No, of course no.
Are you suggesting that?
Game management, please.
Oh, sorry.
What are you talking about here? Okay.
I have to block out the mic now.
We can talk about the North Division. Oh, wait. No, we can't because they haven't played yet.
No, they have not.
So when we predict tonight and when we get to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, we'll do that later. But it would be amazing if we could. But no, let's talk more about line combinations and Martin Marincin getting called up. That's so fun. Great job, NHL. Minnesota, though. The series is tied against Vegas. It was very much a goalie duel in game one where, guys, it's kind of weird to see that through games two, I think Vegas are very lucky to be tied right now, which is very concerning. And, no offense, but I get Pacioretty's good, but playoff Pacioretty is not the straw that should break the camel's back. No offense, Max. Love you. You were great as a hat, but I'm concerned about Vegas.
Maybe they underestimated the Wild. I don't know. Because game one, they went out and, they let Cam Talbot work. Game two, it was kind of the opposite. Like the Wild had 13 shots on Fleury almost like at the midway point of the first period. And he really did keep them in.
He was sensational.
Marcia show that was a tricky snipe.
It's ironic you say that, Daniel, that they're underestimating the Wild because that their first year not that they weren't a good team, but I think a lot of teams underestimated the Golden Knights, especially the Winnipeg Jets in that playoff round. And that should have been their they should have been in the cup final, but that's a different story. And now that's kind of flipped. I mean, it is a possibility, right? I don't think neither Adam or I had Minnesota making the playoffs. We thought they would be a better team than they were last year, and they very much were. And I think it is a possibility that Vegas is kind of overlooking the run that Minnesota has made because they were close in that division, right? Like there was a huge gap between third and fourth place in that division.
I remember my prediction saying that third team is going to be St. Louis and there would be that gap. Instead, it was Minnesota. You know what? You got to also remember here is Minnesota have underratedly one of the best defensive cores in the league. I think that's playing to their strengths right now. You know what? Forget about just us or Vegas. I mean, everyone's been saying it's Vegas, Colorado in that division without Minnesota even getting a sort of whiff here. I don't think that Vegas should be allowing this to happen. No offense, but Joel Eriksson-Ek is a good player, though. Should Joel Eriksson-Ek be like? What's funny? He's probably better than Chandler Stevenson, and I'm still not convinced about that. By the way, about Stevenson being that big player, I just there's something with Vegas. Like they're not looking themselves, and looking at how Colorado played Game 1 against St. Louis. Vegas, forget about looking at Colorado. They can't beat them as is. The fact they're struggling against Minnesota right now, as good as Minnesota are, and they have great pieces, it's a massive concern for a team that should be serious wrecking balls in the West.
Do you think it's because I've said it before in our preseason preview that the Golden Knights are just really top heavy, and when one line doesn't seem to work, and that's really like, you know, the original first line of Marchessault, Smith, and Carlson, then that just becomes like that point of concern.
I think they're top heavy. Like, I don't think you go through even I know it's like a 56 game season, and on 10 occasions have to play with one less man.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I was going to get their daily face-off stuff. I had Twitter open, and just something really quick because it relates to the West, they are the West, aren't they? The Blues are dealing with multiple positive COVID-19 tests that they hope believe are false positives. GM Doug Armstrong, in statement, we have been in touch with and we are working with the league to address the discrepancies with additional testing. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully the Blues are all okay and nothing happens with that Colorado series. With you know what, it's interesting because like Tuck had 2 goals last night, but you know there's a bit of zest there to do with, you know, Minnesota. You know what, the identity with Vegas has always kind of been that they are the castaways, right? And you can see that with Tuck last night. It's Alex, right? Is it Alex or Luke?
Alex.
Luke is the one that Montreal drafted.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get him. So Alex Tuck, lest we forget, is the guy that Minnesota set to Vegas so they can keep Matt Dumba. That's huge. It's just you need the rest of the team to step up. You know, it's kind of concerning when you go on, and I haven't heard much about Alex Pietrangelo. Is he even playing?
Yeah, he's playing. It's like he is going against like the top line right now, like the Kaprizov line, but I don't know. It's just he's not really generating the same type of shots from the point as he was before. Like Shea Theodore is usually their guy for that.
You think? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just like that was something I think Dom Luszczyszyn also wrote about too, where like the Golden Knights, the way their defense is right now, it's because that's the part of it that's healthy, is that it's just been that, okay, yeah, you have this one guy that's doing something that maybe you did before already, like on St. Louis, but now it's a kind of a thing now too, where like it's just being a bit more inconsistent because like they've just kind of stuck to that role where it's like Pete DeBoer is saying like, just do this, and that's good.
Do you think, you said their identity was castaways, but do you still think that's the case though?
I think you have to have that. That's the magic. I mean, like you have to have that chip because Vegas are always they're a confident group.
Right.
Like they know they're good. I think you have to have that bit of zest. Like, is Ryan like the reason they have Ryan Reeves? And I remember getting really mad about this whole idea that they needed him because he had like 2 goals in like his entire first year there. Has he been effective? Don't think so. I think you still have to have that sort of edge to your game. Like you need to carry that chip on you. Like Torrey Krug was on 31 Thoughts, the podcast. Remember he talked about he still has that thing of people think I'm undersized. None of us look at Torrey Krug and think he's bad because he's small. But professional athletes find that way to like they look at for the simplest thing that goes against them. Like Michael Jordan in The Last Dance we talked about before. That guy didn't say hi to me in the restaurant. I'm dropping 40 on his butt tomorrow.
Or even Mark Stone. I remember before he got traded there, they were all talking about. I remember like Eugene Melnick was talking about it. Pierre Dorian were talking about that. Like this guy is probably the next captain of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
And then they were not committed to I guess the long-term vision that he had with the team, so they traded him. So I guess you're right. Where like there's those different narratives on this team where it's like there's that chip on their shoulder.
I'm not concerned yet. It is a problem, but no series is easy in this league. Should never be, especially against a Wild team that we probably should have given more credit. And if Vegas do lose, I will take the blame for this. At the same time, though, it will mess up a lot of brackets. And at the same time, though, I would take an upset because upsets are fun.
You know who would not take the blame, though?
Who?
Marc-Andre Fleury.
No, he has been he's been insane. Like honestly, the scores of the last few games would be so much worse if not for Marc-Andre Fleury. He has seriously reached another level. I don't think he was this good in Pittsburgh.
It was for like before the 2012 playoffs.
So
as he was entering his prime.
Like he was this good in the cup, like the back-to-back finals appearance. And then he was good again before he got hurt because they played him too much, and then that's when Matt Murray came in.
Well, he's been good at anyway, he's been Vegas' saving grace right now, which he was when they went to the cup final.
If you're Pete DeBoer, what do you do to give this team a boost or anything? Because it's like 2 games and your goaltender is seemingly your best player. Like it doesn't seem like anyone else is outstanding. Like yes, Alex Tuch had 2 goals, but what am I getting from everybody else?
You yell at your bottom 6. No, I don't know. You got to get them to rally because like remember this was a big part of our discussion early in the season, and suddenly it's just being brought up now because I just forgot that he's playing in the bottom 6 and it's Cody Glass.
Right.
You need good centermen. They don't have a center core.
Yeah, it's Carlson, Stevenson, and Cody Glass.
At the same time, though, what's Minnesota's center, too? This is legit
Ryan Hartman
with no middle.
Eric Sinek, Hartman, Bonino, Bukestad. Is Bukestad playing?
Yeah, he's playing the 4th
Nick
line.
Bukestad.
Well,
Yeah,
well, like here and there, like Nico Sturm is usually their 4th line center.
You just have to play if you're DeBoer, you kind of you push the guys like, God, this is your series to lose here. Like, you can't motivate these guys more. Like, and again, it was Stahl said, not Stahl. Stone said this last press conference. Like, we know how good he's been. Like, and Flower was next to him. He said, we got to be better for him. If these guys can't bring it to themselves, like, I don't know. If that group cannot motivate themselves, then, like, there's nothing Pete DeBoer can do.
I know, and that's the craziest part of all this is, have they ever had issues motivating themselves, considering they found themselves as castaways? Like we said, like it's as if Thatcher Demko is still haunting them.
People were making that thing of, wow,
yeah,
we're back-to-back playoffs against a spooky goaltender. We should ask the question, though. And Daniel, I'm assuming you put this question in. So I'll ask you first. Do you trust Cam Talbot to hold the line? Because I do. He's playing
You didn't
really
say the
well.
other part.
Oh no, I saw that. I almost clicked on it and I realized it was a YouTube link. I didn't want to start playing some song from the 80s.
Okay, but you know what the song is, right?
Love Isn't Always on Time.
Yes.
I don't know what this
it's
means.
you know the band Toto?
I do not know the band Toto. I
You know the one that
Africa?
but
the one that like bless the rains in Africa?
no.
What?
Yeah, no,
What?
I listen to Japanese music. I don't know what
No.
this music that you're speaking of is. It looks like the music video. Everyone's got like an afro or something. Like this is much
Pretty
before
much.
my time.
Yeah, but anyways, the chorus of it is hold the line.
Okay.
Love isn't always on time.
So what does that do with Cam Talbot?
It's because I think I heard NBC say he needs to hold the line, and then they didn't say the rest of it. So I wanted to say the rest of it because there was a prime pop culture reference opportunity right there, and they squandered it.
Well, and that's why they lost the U.S. deal. Because they're just that was mean. That was
too
mean.
soon. That's too
That was
soon.
mean.
Too soon.
I know
too
I made
soon.
fun of him, but Joel Eriksson act like wicked to get the overtime winner in game 1. Though that was pretty nice.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Not Saku. Miko Koivu 2.0.
Yeah, I was about to say no one's Saku. No one's that good. Get out of here. I miss Saku every day of the week. I rewatched his return to Montreal the other day. Heartbreaking stuff. Okay. Would you guys like to look at Tampa, Florida? No, we're talking Tampa, Florida. Oh my, it's been fun. Game 2.
Keith Yandel.
Keith Yandel. They've been really fun. 2 games, fast, loud in the arena, which is really weird because it's in Florida. Though Tampa have just been that much better.
It's we talked about it in the preview. Like, one of the things that everyone's been talking about, a lot of people have been saying, is the longer this series goes, the better it is for Tampa, because it gives Kucherov time to get back in the swing of things, and he hasn't.
He needed a
that,
period,
literally, and I'm so happy he's on my playoff fantasy team. That's
For
all
me,
I'll say.
Yeah, for me, what I kind of felt is I've always complimented this Panthers team. What Will Christophoulos said on the show, where they're getting the most out of these guys, that they're playing better than what their contract shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's getting to them now, because the way I view the Lightning now, where they're at full strength right now. We had that perfect cell analogy where it's just wave after wave now for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
That they're playing really well. It's just Tampa's depth is getting to them.
It's just, it almost feels like on the other end is the Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
And as you say, Kucherov has not played since the playoffs, and Stamkos has had like 2 months off. It's funny what 40 goal scorer Steven Stamkos and former Hart Trophy 120-point player Nikita Kucherov can do when they've got some rest.
Right. Like,
Do we want to talk about how it's kind of silly that people are still complaining about the LTIR stuff? Still?
I can say something about it. Like, let me put it like this. The NHL, this is a league who loves parity and not giving a single team a competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, any ounce of it. Why on earth would they allow Tampa Bay to do something like this? Like, just think about it like that.
I complained about it at the time because it is dumb. But at the same time, this has been going on for years now. I mean, Tampa this year, the Leafs last year, with Arizona, Patrick Kane back with the Blackhawks. This is nothing new.
Like, everyone's
simmer down.
Yeah, everyone's focusing on the Tampa Bay situation, where we should be focusing on how stupid the current salary cap system is.
Yeah.
Like, that's the issue here. You guys are complaining about how the NHL is allowing them to do this. You should be complaining about how the current cap system absolutely sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is going to be a bigger issue.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear it.
But would you guys ever agree on a soft cap?
Yes.
Yeah? Because, I know people talk about parity. They talk about, what about the other teams? But Man, like it's been going on in baseball. It's been going on in basketball for how long?
I'm a fan of a rich team and I want some playoff success. So whatever.
The return of the 2001 Colorado Avalanche.
If you put a luxury tax, let's say, right, that extra money from the teams who go over the cap gets distributed to the poor teams.
Yeah. There's also in baseball there's the competitive balance round for draft picks.
What's that?
So teams that don't make they make the least amount of money in the league get an extra draft pick.
Sure.
I like that. I really like that, actually.
Arizona probably won't do anything good with that pick anyways, but that's
going to get
fine.
taken away anyway.
Forget about using it. They're going to lose it. Oh, my. Other things in this series we should mention is Sam Bennett gets a suspension for doing the same kind of thing as Ryan McDonough, except Sam Bennett was charging and had some extra strides. First off, what a dumb penalty for Sam Bennett to take. Cost the Panthers game one, we should mention.
Yeah.
He was good. He was so noticeable. Though there's a time in the you can get away with a lot, as McDonough did on that board earlier in the game. But skating halfway across the ice to crush a guy into the boards is probably not going to be something you can get away with.
Probably not. Yeah, no. It's unfortunate because we all look at what Sam Bennett does in the playoffs, and we know how much better he is in the playoffs.
Yes.
It's like, why would you do that? It's like, come on, man.
The heat of the moment. Rookie mistake, in my opinion, for him.
He's not a rookie.
I know, that's the thing.
He's been in the league for how many years?
7 years. But again, 6-7 years. But in a way, it's just, I don't know, just lack of playoff experience, or just he let the emotions get to him.
The red mist.
Where we were all on high emotion.
There was definitely, I think, there was still a lot of fun in the second game, but you could tell they were missing him in that second outing. There was definitely a bit less. But compared to that first game, you were never going to really get it. Did you guys notice the pair of Panthers fans that were where the Panthers shot twice, I think it was, and they did not sit down the entire game? And I felt so bad for everyone who sat behind me.
No, I didn't.
It kept bothering me. I couldn't pay attention for the last few minutes because it was these two goofballs just sitting there waving their toes.
I didn't see that. I didn't notice that at all.
It requires a lot of energy for the whole game.
That does.
They were clearly coaching, doing some. You also gotta love when they cut to a box. They must have some famous people there. It's like just this group of them, maybe footballers. They looked like they had the build to be footballers. And none of them were wearing masks. And you're just like, man, come on now. We're working on this.
So close.
Mm-hmm. Question though.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky in game one wasn't terrible, but let in a lot of goals. Game two, Chris Krieger, less goals. But, Chris Krieger, he's fine. Maybe you want a bit more zest on the team. You want to throw a jolt. Do you, for game three, stick with Drieger, back to Bobrovsky, or do you take the chance with Spencer Knight?
That's called the, you know what that's called?
What?
The 2014 Anaheim Ducks. They had Victor Fast and Frederick Anderson.
Yeah. But
then Randy Carlyle's like, John Gibson, you played 3 games in the regular season. You're our starter in the second round.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A young player, not a lot of regular season experience, and the coach gave the young player a chance?
Oh, no.
How did it work out for Anaheim?
Is Randy Carlyle a better coach than? Never mind.
I was ready for you to hear. I don't know. You're going to compliment Randy Carlyle?
How did it go for Anaheim?
They lost 6.
You didn't expect that.
They didn't. The Kings won the cup that year.
Okay. Fine. Never mind. If they
I thought you were talking about Patrick Waugh.
How does it work with fans at the end? If you lost to the cup chance, if we only beat them, we would have won the cup.
Exactly.
In my books, I mean, it is the Ducks. They were good back then. They still got something there.
I mean, if I don't want to say it.
No,
anyway,
say it. Too late. Say it. No, say it.
If the Leafs beat the Bruins, they would have beat the Blackhawks in the finals.
No, they would not.
No, they would not.
No, they would not.
A 13-year-old me had to try to convince myself that, but I'm like, I know that was not right. Go ahead.
I remember I didn't know it was a okay, before we move on, I just didn't know that was a controversy at the time that Miguel Grabowski didn't like being on the third line. Because I remember just thinking, man, look at the Leafs' depth at center right now. Like, they have Grabowski on the third line. They have Kadri and Bozak.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
Bunch of guys who are at best second line center.
I'm just gonna have a great rest of the day, by the way.
Okay.
Which goal do you go?
I don't go. I'll answer this question. I won't go with Spencer Knight. I think playing him against a Tampa Bay Lightning team like this it's a dangerous move. Like I think it's one thing when it's a player, but we know goalies are very different. Like, we're not talking about putting Cole Caulfield in. We're talking about putting Spencer Knight and having to face Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman, Braden Point over and over and over again, right? I feel like you can put either Bobrovsky or Drieger in net. I felt like putting Drieger in net, and I'm stealing this from Hockey Central, was a bit of a panic move, but they kind of got screwed over a little bit because they did end up losing that second game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they couldn't go home down 2-0. I mean, they're still going home down 2-0, or away. Sorry,
they're going to Tampa.
Yeah, going to Tampa Bay. That's
which
what I meant.
Much worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Chris Drieger. I think it's because they did lose, but they adjusted to what Stamkos was talking about, where he was kind of rallying everyone, saying that we can't have these type of 5-4 games in the playoffs. What we need to do is just tighten up, and I think he did his best he could. Like, the way that carousel of a game went in game one, it just, from my opinion, that's prototypical Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you talk about the game two and tightening things up, especially in the third. They did such a good job of like killing any sort of momentum for Florida. Like, they couldn't get in the zone. Like, I don't know how often they got past the face-off dot last night. Like, so not last night. No, it was last night, wasn't it?
Yes.
Are you saying they're clogging in the neutral zone?
It wasn't even that. The Panthers just couldn't break in. It was, talk about, like, it's almost like Tampa have been here before. They've gotten into shootouts before and it hasn't worked. I mean, that's the tightness of the playoffs. And it also shows like Tampa, like, yeah, you want to try and outscore us? Yeah, that's funny. That's not going to happen.
Again, like, I think I like Florida a lot. It's just, I think it's starting to really show, like, that top nine that it doesn't match up.
They don't have experience at it.
Yeah, like Carter Verhaeghe, we all love him. But remember, he played like a fourth line role on the Lightning, and then he's playing top six on the Panthers.
Like anything can change, and I don't want to use the word breaking down, but I get like, it feels like Florida is breaking down in a way in that, like, they don't have necessarily many answers to Tampa Bay, and it's no one's fault really, like, because it's just, this is what Joel Quenneville was handed, and I bet he's trying his damn hardest to figure this out. And it's a difficult thing to figure out. Like you said, their top nine is very good.
They're also doing it without Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah,
it's unfortunately part of the playoffs, being hurt, but he would be making a massive difference right now. You can look at Tampa Bay and it's just like, we got Hedman off the ice. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Oh, no. Oh, McDonough. Oh,
the Waves are, like when you play, like, did you guys play Horde mode?
No.
In what?
Gears of War. Or what's that thing we play on Halo? Where it's like the
firefight?
Yeah, there. It's like that. It's just like the waves keep, like, they're just nonstop.
Waves of air.
Because we didn't fix the settings.
No, we did not. I forgot about that. Anyway, yeah, I'd go with Drieger. I think they should have started from this off, to be honest with you. I get Bobrovsky because, lest we forget, he was the guy in Columbus when they swept Tampa. So maybe there could have been a bit of magic there. Okay, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. There's only been one series that I haven't at least watched one game in fully, and that's Nashville, Carolina, because it overlapped.
Yeah, same. I I don't know. I was so excited for the Hurricanes
Yeah.
and seeing what they can do, but for some reason I've been so complacent with their series.
Well, it's over because again, it went over. I think it might have been the first Panthers game. It just, I mean, it's been. I think there's only been 2 games that there's been a margin of more than 2 goals you've lost by, and the first one was that same day. I think it was Carolina and Nashville. They at some point, like you thought maybe Nashville could pull something out of there because Philip Forsberg just pulled out the most amazing thing he's ever done. What a wicked goal that is, man. Phil Forsberg is so good.
And his mustache.
He looked amazing. And the way he was trying to silence the crowd. But then, you know what? Carolina broke through. Hey, that's something that Minnesota were able to prevent Vegas from doing in game 1 of their series, but they Nashville just couldn't do it the other way. I mean, it's going exactly as you would think so far. It's just, I don't blame a lot of people if they didn't watch this because, I mean, honestly, it's one of those series that you would hope that would just go. No offense as well, but there were other better games.
I think because we gave it to Carolina already.
Or just make a game at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. It's just
do what you did in the bubble.
I'm not saying they're. I'm just saying I'm like I don't know. If for me, it's just I know they're not a bad team. It's just for Nashville. It's just I'm tired of the narrative. I think of them kind of changing everything where it's like we're gonna rebuild. Everyone's on the market except these certain players, and then suddenly it's like we're gonna squeak in, and I don't know. It's the same as last year where I kind of felt like when they went against the Coyotes, it's just I just don't have faith in them.
No, I get it.
They got to do something. I mean, we'll have that discussion in the summer, right?
It's pretty ironic to me when the Preds, when they were starting to make the playoffs, they were that team where like they could get the most out of like these guys they get on like a budget or internally, and then suddenly their team has like some of like the biggest contracts, and they're not even a big market.
Duchesne had a nasty goal.
He did.
But it's just, okay, can you do that for the other games of the series? Can you flip that switch and be the effective top 6 centerman we know you can be? And he just doesn't do it enough because he's not that good. He's not $8 million.
Right. That's the thing. They have multiple players on their team who are probably paid a little bit more than they should be.
I think we're still paying Kyle Turris.
Yes, and they will be for a couple of years. I have a theory about Dougie Hamilton, by the way.
Let's hear it.
It's not about the game. It's about where he should go in the offseason and who should get him.
Who should get him?
I think there's I'll wait. I do have a theory about it, though. Okay.
Is it Toronto?
Finally. What?
Is it Toronto?
No.
Stop. Let me do my thing.
Okay. We'll wait.
Yeah, I haven't. Stop it. Okay, so looking at a series that I am very excited to watch. Game 2 is tonight. Colorado and St. Louis. Now, there's a little line on the dock that I want the listeners to hear. Jordan Binnington was prepared to street fight rather than save a couple goals for the Blues. Now, first off, I want to say that to whoever wrote this, and I think I know who it is, Jordan Binnington is the reason that the Blues had a chance in that game. Like, Colorado should have stomped all over them. Like, I think it ended up being 3-1, 4-1 anyway, but it was really funny at the end of the game when Grubauer was getting involved that Binnington wanted to come over. I thought it was really funny. But, guys, I don't know about you, but every year whenever I look at certain teams and when I root for the Habs and if they can make it, and I'm like, or any team, there's that thinking of if you just get in, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then you watch the Avalanche play and you're like, no. This is a Stanley Cup winning team. They are, like, just looking at the Makar goal and the way he works the blue line. McDavid's the fastest skater in the league, but I think Makar is the best skater because holy crap. I mean, McKinnon was going, Landeskog's a mall, Gordie Howe hat trick. They're gonna, like, St. Louis don't stand a chance. They really don't. It was like watching like a cat play with a ball of yarn.
It's like, man, I didn't get to watch because I was too tired to stay up to watch that entire thing. So I watched the replay in the morning, and it was just, you kind of expected this. Like, I don't know who thought this was going to go any differently. Like, yeah, maybe St. Louis is going to put up a fight, but like, go look at Colorado. Like, the additions that they made, they didn't make many additions. Like, they added Brandon Saad, they added Devin Tays, but everyone else around them, like McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, Makar, they took steps heading into the playoffs, and then their goaltending isn't an issue anymore. Like, I think they're very comfortable with Grubauer in terms of having a starter. They brought in Dubnyk more as we don't need Michael Hutchinson playing if two goalies don't go down again. Like, I think they're very comfortable with their goaltending situation.
So I just remembered Devin Dubnyk is the backup right now. He was on third goalie. So Jordan Bibining has tried to fight both Avalanche goalies this year.
That's a very good stat, Daniel. I mean, if you know how in the NHL games there are certain attributes, I wonder what his aggression's at.
It's past the stars.
It's got to be a solid 99.
Yeah,
maybe both the spectrum for him. Because it's. I'm gonna go check that later actually, because oh boy.
I think I've one more thing to kind of just say right now on this series is the Blues. I know for the most part still have that championship core, but as I've said before, and we never know how this series is going to go, but they just seem out of sync now. Where I know there's been so many people in and out. I know that whole David Perron thing, and as of right now, I just don't think they're as solid as a unit, because I know the Avalanche are just so much more talented, but they've been able to roll with things. I know that Bowen Byram isn't playing right now, but because I know what was the guy that we said who was playing? Oh, Patrick Nemeth. That I wanted to put him on the big board, but he's been pretty effective as a defensive third pairing guy. But that's just one example too, which is there's just so much more talent on that team for the Avalanche.
Man, you can have David Perron was not stopping that last night. Leaving Nathan McKinnon open right at the slots, that's a very bold way of trying to win a hockey game.
Bold move, Cotton. Bold move.
Yeah.
Is Ryan O'Reilly not a true captain?
I'm not saying that.
Stop.
Even though he's we're gonna win. No, you're not. You're not gonna win. This is not happening. God, man, I love watching them play so much. Okay, I guess now we can look at the games that are going to happen tonight around the league. And we might as well start, guys. Canucks and Calgary.
No. I will not accept that as an answer.
There's just one thing I want to say about that one is, did you guys see the Daryl Sutter? What he said about the team?
They suck?
No, prior to the game. No, it was about Dylan Dubé and Juuso Valimaki.
No, what he said?
Where he said, there's a bit of entitlement on this team. And
excuse me.
He's there's a bit of entitlement on the team where guys think they could just get here based on skill and they think they've earned it. But he said that, I've been pretty disappointed with how these two players specifically have been going. And he talked about why he's giving them healthy scratches, why they haven't been playing, why they've brought in other people from Stockton that have been playing above them.
So you talk about Calgary and not being great. Yesterday I posted the TikTok of us talking about the Tyler Toffoli Players Tribune article. So someone responds with, Leafs fan, but I think Vancouver will be a good team soon. Calgary is worse off. No one has faith in Calgary.
Man, I don't blame Suter thinking that. I mean, I don't think there's a more entitled team than Calgary that he mentioned there. I mean, win, and they can't do it. Okay, I didn't actually think we would actually spend.
I have one more stat on this game.
I am amazed that you are this prepared.
Yeah, I had these on my notes. Louis Domingue will make his first start in 14 months.
He's around?
Yeah, he's playing for the Flames tonight.
So we need to create an account. It's not Sportsnet stats. It's 2-on-1 podcast stats.
I feel like Daniel probably got that from Sportsnet.
Yeah, I did.
Canada's finally getting some playoff hockey tonight when the Edmonton Oilers host the Winnipeg Jets. I'm very excited for two reasons. A, I think the Jets are going to surprise, and B, Connor McDavid in the playoffs. Who do you guys have winning tonight?
I think go ahead, Daniel. No,
I think the Jets, because when they were having that really bad streak, they were just playing consistently, but I think that they've had time to kind of think about things. To maybe Nick Ehlers heel a bit, and I think they take game one, but it's going to be really close. But we'll see how the rest of the series goes.
Okay.
Is Nick Ehlers playing tonight?
I will try and find out for you guys.
I also think Winnipeg will win tonight. I think they will band together, even despite their recent struggles. I do think them playing Vancouver at the end of the season was a little bit of a good thing. Because I mean, a lot of teams have been beating up on Vancouver recently since they came back from COVID, which is unfortunate, but it's just, that's what's happened. And I just think that maybe that was a good opportunity to say, hey, we can do this. And as long as Connor Hellebuck is not even just standing on his head, but good, I think they have a chance to win tonight until Connor McDavid wakes up.
I'm going to go with Edmonton because from Tom Gazzola, Nick Ehlers and Pierre-Luc Dubois in non-contact jerseys at the morning skate.
Listen, I still had Edmonton winning the series. That's my only hope. My only hope.
I think the Oilers still take the series.
I have Winnipeg winning the series, but they're not winning without Dubois and the Oilers tonight. I'm not sorry, Hellebuck. That's not going to happen. All right, looking towards the rest of the series, Colorado and St. Louis, game 2. I'm going Colorado all the way here. I'm saying
5-1 Colorado tonight.
Wow. You really don't like Jordan Binnington.
It's funny. People say that, but I'm actually a fan of Jordan Binnington.
You made fun of him in the doc. He was good in the game. Good.
We
don't know who
shots.
wrote that. We don't know who wrote that. It might have been Alex.
It was definitely not me. I haven't looked at the doc. When I went to look at the doc, it was already in there. So I'm just going to assume it's not me.
I think Mike still has.
It could have been Mike.
Access,
you know what? That's a good point. That's a good point.
Alex, how do you check how someone put someone on the doc? Can you do that?
Yeah. See, it might say just anonymous. That's the only issue.
While Alex is just looking, and maybe we can find out if we can solve this mystery. Daniel has a mask of Mike, and we rip it off. It's like it could have gone.
Do you ever see that? That GIF? Do you ever see that GIF where I think it was in WCW, Sting takes off his mask, but then he takes off a mask of himself, but then it's still his mask. Like it's still his painting, on the face paint.
No,
it still says anonymous. By the way, doesn't tell me who it was.
We'll never know.
All right, well, stop it. All right, looking. God, where were we? Sorry, Alex, are you saying Blues or Colorado?
Oh, I'm saying Colorado.
Yeah, I said 5. I thought Colorado were going to win in 5, and I think I'm being generous to St. Louis after that first game. Oh wow, that's. Oh wait, no, there were 2 other games. Oh boy, Carolina, Nashville.
Unless Nashville decides to, I guess, the rest of the team wake up, I just see it going Carolina's way.
What's the score, you believe?
3-1.
Okay.
Daniel.
4-2 Carolina.
I'll be different. I'll say 1-0 Nashville. Ryan Johansson, baby. And I don't know, Saros or Rene, one of them. There's going to be the starting goalie will get hurt, and then Philip Forsberg will pull off a Michigan for the game winner. The
starting goalie will get hurt, and so in game 3, Yaroslav Askarov. No, I'm kidding.
Emergency call up.
Yeah. You have to sign him to an entry-level contract.
But Nashville are going to upset, but then they're going to lose the next 3 games, and that will be all she wrote because Carolina will wake up. Capitals, Bruins, big game, game 3. I am going Washington tonight, and I just think that they're going to be on an extra level of pissed off tonight, and I just think they're going to come up blazing.
I also think Washington will win tonight. Like if you watch those 2 games, I think Washington has been the better team in both of them. To be honest, even last game, I just think they maybe didn't capitalize on their chances. But
Washington capitalized.
Oh, I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. I swear. But I do think that there is like I said in last episode, like after game 1, you could see the determination from those players in Washington, especially in Alex Ovechkin. And I do think if they do get, I think Samsonov is coming back soon.
Yeah, him and Kuznetsov have been skating.
So the Kuznetsov situation that's a bit messy, and now I don't think Lars Eller is playing either.
Oh yeah, poor Lars.
And that's gonna be difficult.
Center depth is shot.
I do think there's I feel like Washington can power through it.
Dan?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be another 3-2 game. I'm going to say it's going to be one of the it's going to end in regulation, but it's going to be one of those long games where we're going to have a lot of whistles in between plays of just pure physicality and pettiness.
Yeah. By the way, Eller, Samsonov, Kuznetsov are all on the ice for the Capitals. Morning skate at Boston. Connor McMichael as well. This is from Samantha Pell, by the way. And then Laviolette said the team is working through the lineup. Won't reveal either way if players Eller, Kuznetsov, Samsonov, Oshie are in or out. And we all know Laviolette, the guy's the worst at the playoffs at getting info out of. So, okay. That's everything for that series and playoffs tonight. So we can quickly go around the league and see what's going on. And the big piece of news is that Jim Benning will be back as GM as the Vancouver Canucks next season. Wow. I think we all thought the decision was going to go the other way, but Elliot reporting, good friend Elliot Friedman from the show, great guy, confirming on Twitter yesterday that the guy's coming back. It's a bold decision. The Sedins are coming back for something yet. We don't know exactly. It's not a decision-making thing.
They're going to save the team. They're going to buy it and save the team.
If they're like player development, like that's cool. I think that's fine. But like, why is Jim coming back? Like I really thought
you didn't say how I wrote it in the doc.
But what? He stayed?
Yeah.
Well, it's true. He's staying.
Yeah. Get it?
No.
That was like a chant they did like the whole season for Kawhi Leonard.
He stay?
Yeah, he stay.
How did that work?
And there's like speculations like, oh, he has a Shoppers Drug Mart bag on vacation. No one does that.
See, it didn't work there. They should have been doing it all year in Vancouver. Instead of saying Benning out, they should have been saying Benning in.
Well,
come on, guys. I'm trying to help you. I'm on your side.
I don't know if Benning staying is going to help that team.
No, but it's reverse psychology. It's reverse psychology.
It feels like it's just been such a mess in Vancouver. No one wants to be there. There was so much discourse at the end of the year for their COVID stuff. I just think they needed to start anew. If they can bring Green back, maybe that will help. But I mean, at this point, there are reports that apparently some of their players aren't going to stay for their exit interviews. They're just going to go straight home.
But even if they bring back Travis Green, and I'm not saying what happened this year was Travis Green's fault, like pre-COVID, post their COVID outbreak, like I don't even want to include that part because it's just very messy. But pre-COVID, they weren't great.
No, because they don't have a roster.
Right. So like, even if they bring back Travis Green, we know how good of a coach Travis Green can be. Look at what he did with a different roster the year before that. It's like, you need to give this guy more than just nothing in the bottom six, and then claiming Travis Boyd and Jimmy Vesey and saying, "Well, here you go, Travis, have fun."
Again, they need to call Seattle and say take a contract.
Well, they're not going to do that.
I don't know.
I think
Bite the bullet and give them their first this year.
At the end of the day, regardless, and we can repeat what we've said all the time about Jim Benning, is you need to look at the results, and they haven't won with them. You can say what you want about development of that, they have not won. And if Jim Benning left today, that roster is in a terrible shape with its contract. And I think that's the way you judge the guy. There's that saying of you coach it, you determine how well a GM is doing of how they left the team compared to when they got it.
Right.
And no offense, but you got lucky with Pedersen and you got lucky with Hughes. Now, of course, you get him, you get credit because great, you got the players. No one else has them, you have them. But like, you have a skeleton crew of a forward core and a defensive core. I don't think it's a boneheaded decision to bring him back. Everyone thought he was leaving. You know what? I'm sure we'll talk to Harman Dial next time we can get him on the show. It's just the wrong decision for Vancouver, and I don't see how this team is really going to be. Somehow, over the course of one summer, they went to, okay, we can maybe make a next step, maybe fight for, like, if they could win a round, to all of a sudden they're back at the bottom of the barrel.
Like, look at just the moves they've made in, let's say, the last 18 months, like since the start of COVID. They let Judd Brackett walk, who, by all accounts of everything I've read about this guy, seems to be great at scouting in terms of the draft. And now he's in Minnesota. They let Tyler Toffoli walk without offering him a contract. So they re-signed Jake Virtanen. So they literally signed Jake Virtanen and let Tyler Toffoli walk. Like, let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Then they did Tanner Pearson's contract before doing Ian Clark, who.
Well, hold on. Before we get there, we should mention that they just benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
They did get Nate Schmidt.
They got Nate Schmidt for pennies on the dollar. Yes.
That like saved Jim Benning in the summer.
Okay, but Tanner Pearson.
They did the Tanner Pearson contract, and they don't have their head coach signed for next year, and they don't have their goaltending coach for signed for next year. And look at what he's done to Thatcher Demko, and with Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, and I mean, since leaving, Markstrom hasn't been
the same.
And we know how weird goalies are. If you can get someone that can help with them, it does wonders. Anything else on Benning, or do we want to quickly move on to?
I think there's going to be a lot more as this unfolds. That there's going to be another like feature or something on this. So I think we're just going to stay tuned.
I'm worried with the Courtnall stuff that they're gonna bring in almost this kind of committee, and then the too many chefs are going to ruin the broth here. That's what I'm concerned about. Is there needs to be one, there needs to be the one clear voice, one clear vision. And we know that Aquilini loves to get involved. He's getting his guys in there. And then like the Sedins, like, no, they don't strike me as the kind of people they're going to be like, yeah, this, but still I don't know as well if that's a shield against the consumer confidence that Elliot mentioned. I'm getting really, really worried here in Vancouver because from reports of Freeman and out over the past few days that Benning is going to have complete autonomy. God damn it. Autonomy? Is that the word?
Autonomy.
He's not going to have full control of this, which might be a good thing, but owners are impatient, which is a terrible thing to hear about. Another good spot. Okay. Detroit have extended Jeff Blashill.
Yeah.
I don't know what to feel about this because Detroit have been bad since I was in high school.
They've been hopeful bad. Like apparently, like I've been reading on Twitter, just a lot of people, especially the two guys I know from the hockey writers who covered the Red Wings, that they're pretty confident with it.
Yeah.
Because again, they've been hopeful bad. Like they're bad in the game, but the players who they need to develop or need to get better are getting better.
They're bad with a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not overly surprised. Like, I think it was in 31 Thoughts, Friedman was saying that one of the reasons they traded Mantha was because it feels like Yzerman expects this rebuild to take a little longer than first expected. And by the time that Mantha contract is up, they might just be entering the good years. And who knows at that point, why change Jeff Blashill? Like if Steve Yzerman likes Jeff Blashill and what he's doing there in terms of development and how they're using their players, I don't see what the need is to change that.
It's a familiar face. I remember him when he was with the Grand Rapids Griffins. That was the same time when Ken Holland was GM and Yzerman was still the assistant before he went to Tampa. So I guess there's that familiarity there too, where he's keeping his guys.
Also, we should mention, I don't have much to say. I don't know how good a coach he is. He's had nothing to work with, and they're bad. I cannot seriously come on there and be like, yeah, good move. I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah. At least Yzerman can look at it and look at the situation and be like, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I looked at when I was reading on this is apparently he's getting the most out of Dylan Larkin, where there's that fit there.
That's important. Yeah. I mean, no one else really on that roster.
I have something funny.
Okay.
For Vancouver, since we just got off that topic.
Okay.
This Saturday, this is from Uncle Lalit on Twitter. Protest Saturday 3 to 4 at the Rogers Arena Plaza. Hashtag Aquilini out banner flying over English Bay at 4:30.
I can't wait. I wonder if as many people are going to go to that as when they protested Don Cherry getting fired. Can't wait to see the turnout.
Oh my goodness.
That's going to be hilarious. Right. From Frank Saravelli, who's leaving TSN. That's rough. Hearing Kraken are planning to interview free agent coach Rick Tocchet. He would be the first known candidate for Seattle head coach, one of 4 current NHL openings. Also hearing the Kraken have interviewed Leafs director of pro scouting Troy Bodie for front office position. I believe there's also a report that Tocchet is also being interviewed by the Rangers. Well, hearing some news out of Seattle, and I would really hope that one of those other known or unknown candidates is freaking Gerard Gallant and Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh, Seattle.
I love
Oh my gosh.
First off, I completely forgot about Troy Bodie there.
Leafs legend.
Like I forgot it. I went to go search him up, and then I'm like, he played for the Leafs. Forgot about that.
He I forgot he was married to the daughter of one of the coaches. I remember.
But what does it mean for Seattle trying to get him? I don't care about who he's married to.
No, I
please.
I mean, they've done well in terms of pro scouting. I think the players that they have acquired in the last couple of years have really fit the need of the team and what the image that Kyle Dubas has of this team. And look, Jake Muzzin, Jack Campbell, even this year, Hutton, Riddick, Foligno, right? So it seems like he's good at his job.
Before we move on, Troy Bodie is married to former MLSC CEO's daughter, Tim Laiwiki.
You want to talk about Tocchet too? That's kind of where I was going here.
Yeah. Like now we're going. Yeah, with Rick Tocchet. I'm the one who put that in the doc where the Kraken are, so what did I say? They are uncharted. The search begins uncharted waters because Rick Tocchet is a known commodity. He is someone who coached before, so I think there is that element of. He's done it before. Let's see what he can do. Also, I'm pretty sure he's really well acquainted with Ron Francis. Like,
there's a lot. Didn't they have they played together somewhere? You love looking that up.
Yeah, let me check that.
I can't. Oh, they're so gonna be. Was it Ryan Whitney? No, it was Anthony Stewart. See if they played together on Pittsburgh or something like that. Because hockey is so it's like a spider's web. Just how thinky it is. Like, I think we all kind of agreed that it was kind of weird that he left Arizona. That's really weird. And Also about Bodie, I want to mention, like Seattle, the staff that they are putting together so far. People are talking about how special it is, and like crap. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. Even if they're not good to start, and I saw some of the projected rosters, and I'm like, oh,
it's worse. Yeah.
Oh man, they are not looking great. Like they're getting the right people, man. Like Talkit, I don't think he'd be there. They have a lot of good options. Have you found if they play together yet?
Yes, the connection is Francis and Talkit won back-to-back cups together on the Penguins.
Would Yager have been there?
Yeah.
So
it was Yager and Lemieux also on that team.
Ron Francis with Lemieux and Yager?
Yeah, Francis was the Evgeny Malkin on that team. He was the second line center.
I would say that Yager is the Mario is the Malkin.
Okay.
Maybe that's why no one ever talks about how good Ron Francis was, is because he played behind Yager and Lemieux. Speaking of, if you want to know something about Lemieux, check out the TikTok coming soon. And I think before we keep going here, it's perfect time to mention, I'm pretty sure we should just edit it in. And then once the listeners have listened to it, we will quickly see what we think about the 2-on-1 podcast, Elias Hab's prediction of guests and reunionship, because we have asked multiple of our previous guests to send in videos about their predictions for the series between Montreal and the Leafs. It's a bit lopsided. It's a bit biased, but it's all in good fun. Now, just for some context, we asked everyone to send in like a 10-15 second.
Yeah.
10 to 15 second video.
Yep.
The first clip you will see is of nearly 2 minutes because Mike. So,
we didn't ask him. We didn't give them a proper attire list.
No,
so whatever he's wearing, that's his choice.
So I texted Mike. I said, hey, make sure you throw in some chirps, whatever. Because I'm like, knowing Mike, he'll do it anyways. But I just wanted to make sure he wasn't going to be boring, even though that's impossible for Mike. And he's like, okay, how long do you want? I said 30 seconds, I think, is enough. I'm like, okay. He's like, okay. So I don't know if he sent it in the group chat or if he sent it just to me. I think he sent it in the group chat. And it's 2 minutes long. Why?
Because it's Mike. So before we do go, we want to say thank you to Will Christophilus, Will Baldwin, Donald Higney, Lawler Kuipers, Chase, what's his last name, Alex? Dreberg, great guy. Gives Caulfield some love. And yeah, thanks, Mike. Have a good time. So enjoy this prediction.
Hi, 2-on-1 podcast fans and hosts. I'm Mike Jagasar. I hope this message finds you well. I hope this message finds you in good health, and especially Adam, I hope this message finds you in good spirits, because they're about to get crushed. I'm sorry, no hostility here, I digress. Adam asked me a ways back to film a video with my official prediction for the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs opening round matchup between the Montreal Canadiens and your Toronto Maple Leafs. And my official prediction goes as follows. Leafs in 5. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs, my team, I believe, they just have a relatively deep roster. Some would call it a quote-unquote absolute wagon. Are there questions surrounding goaltending? Potentially. Are there questions surrounding effort and compete level? Of course. Can the Montreal Canadiens come and punch them in the mouth and make one of the biggest upsets ever that would leave me crushed? And me and Alex would be stuck in our rooms crying forever? Yes, of course. But do I believe the Montreal Canadiens have a better roster than the Toronto Maple Leafs? No. I think they got a good team, but anytime you're playing Eric Stahl over Cole Caulfield, I think there are some serious problems. Despite that, I also think this big guy right here, who just got the Rocket Richard Trophy, formally awarded him today, is going to be firing on all cylinders. You may have heard of him, Austin Matthews. But yes, I think this will be a great series. I think it'll be very entertaining, very heavy-hitting, and if the Montreal Canadiens come and put an upset and completely shock this fan base, then Adam, I will never speak to you again as a friend.
What's up, guys? I'm here with my 2-on-1 podcast, Habs and Leafs playoff review. You already know I got to stay with the Buds. I'm going to take the Leafs in 6. On a side note, though, I'm also predicting Cole Caulfield to have 3 goals. But yeah, Leafs in 6. I think it's going to be a fairly easy series for them, but I think Montreal is going to squeak out two real tight games, possibly in overtime. But I think it's going to be a really fun series to watch, and I think we're going to see a lot of offense.
I think that the Montreal Canadiens will win the series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think it'll take 7 games, and I think Nick Suzuki will get the series winning goal.
I say Leafs in 5 with my uneducated hockey opinions. I know the Leafs have been good all year, and I think the Canadiens are down a couple players. Maybe there'll be a big game from Cole Caulfield, but I think overall the Leafs roster is really strong. The power play concerns me. I'm sure it concerns all of Leafs Twitter and Leafs fandom, but I'll be taking the Leafs in 5.
You know, the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't won a playoff series since I was in kindergarten. And with the season they've had this year, a lot of people would be worried. I mean, they're the best team in the division, one of the best teams in the league on paper. It's not a great matchup, but we have history on our side in Montreal. And let's be honest, Leafs fans, you guys you're excited about playing Montreal, but in your head, you're scared. Because this is the one team you guys can't lose to. And I would be worried. Except 31 is back. And as long as 31's back, I'm feeling good. Habs in 7. I know Leaf fans are worried, and you guys should be. Because let's be honest, when was the last time something good happened to you? Let's just add another thing to the list of things that traumatize you with another devastating playoff loss. This time to your Montreal Canadiens.
Hey, what's going on? 201 Podcast, my boys. Happy to be back here to give my prediction for the Leafs and Habs series starting up on Thursday. You know, both good teams, but I see the Leafs winning this one pretty cleanly. I'm going to go with 5. I'm going to go Leafs in 5, but if the Habs can push it to a Game 6, get that home crowd going, you know, I can see them pushing it to 7, and then who the hell knows? You know, it's hockey. Hockey is the most parity in any of the sports, and anything can happen. I'm going to go Leafs in 5, but wouldn't be surprised if this goes a little bit deeper. Go Cats.
And we're back. Wow. So I know now who is banned from the show, by the way.
Mike.
Mike is...
Mike's gone.
Like, what is he doing with those glasses? By the way, check out the YouTube portion, because when you hear it, I also quickly threw up the handles for all their Twitters. Again, thank you to all of you for sending the videos in. Really appreciate it. But it's going to be fun, this series. We're not getting it till tomorrow still.
But we will be on social media about it.
Yeah, I have a feeling that probably... I was going to mention to you guys, but might as well mention in front of the listeners. I'm assuming we'll alternate like live tweeting. That'd be pretty fun. Yeah.
Sure.
And we will try to be unbiased. I don't know how that's going to go.
So if that's how it is, then Daniel has to do all
okay.
He's wearing the Leafs jersey now.
Yeah, but he is the least unbiased of the three of us.
I mean, if I wore a Ducks jersey, people are gonna be like, "Does this guy even watch hockey? It doesn't matter."
All right. God, where are we?
I should wear my Penguins.
You know what? We should
jersey.
get Mike to do the live tweeting for the.
Oh my gosh, gonna get flagged.
Probably.
Okay. Anyway, so the Leafs. Has there been any updates since we last
Everyone's
spoke?
back.
Everyone's back.
Everyone.
And they're just deep. That's what I've read.
We did touch on Campbell starting in Nash last episode, but since then, yes, Hyman is back.
Hyman, I believe, is back. Bogosian will play game 1.
Yeah.
That is confirmed. That was from this morning.
So who is coming out for Zach Bogosian?
Travis Dermott.
That's the right decision.
I believe
that's the right decision.
Stanley Cup winner, Zach Bogosian.
That was the lineup from this morning. Obviously, that can change at any point. But
yeah, tomorrow's a different day. Some coaches say.
Yeah,
it's the right one. I mean, future Seattle Kraken Travis Dermott ?
Probably.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to make the most of these moments with him now.
I mean, you know, I love that clip of like he's like talking like this kid, and like they're talking about like animals, and Travis is going out about like rhinos and giraffes. It's the most It's the cutest thing ever. People should go find it. I just want to get to the games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've been talking about this series for over a week.
And there's just nothing. It's just every day you're just like, crap, it's not even Thursday yet. Like we've had like both provinces update COVID stuff since like the start of the playoffs, and like we don't even know what's going on.
Just your province.
Like, Doug did say, I think since
What?
the playoffs, Doug did say, hey there, we're extending everything again.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for the reminder.
What was the update?
Nothing.
It's Trudeau's fault.
Oh yeah. I thought there was an update on like extending it past June 2nd.
No, I don't know.
Oh no. I mean, I meant that.
I hate this.
Update in quotation marks.
Which was supposed to end today, actually, like the initial date of the lockdown.
I hate this province.
We have some real updates in Quebec because, and it came out like as I was arriving back in Montreal, if this series goes to a game 6, we will have fans in the arena in Montreal, 2,500. I think it's 12% capacity.
I think so.
So what I kind of want to say here, and by the way, season ticket holders have been interviewed that in the next couple of days we will find out ways about buying tickets.
Wow.
If the Habs don't push this to 6 at least, I'm gonna be mad. I'm seriously gonna be mad. Anyway though, and that's because COVID in Montreal or Quebec has been a lot better than Toronto and that, unfortunately. Like weekly cases that have gotten it's been really good here, as good as it can be. The curfew will be lifted the day before the game. God, suck it, my guy. He made how I want to peel back the curtain here. Every time we do a watch party, Mike always makes a joke about the goddamn curfew in Montreal. But you know what, Mike? We may have a curfew, but you know what? We're gonna get to see a hockey game if the team makes it, and you can't go golfing. So suck it. I just want to say that. Somehow there's what?
Can I hate our leaders. I just want to point that out. With a burning.
Not John Tavares though.
Not John Tavares. It's an unfortunate situation. The Buds are going to go down to the course, and
no, they're not going to go down to the course. No, they're not. They're not allowed.
Oh. They got to even shoot some hoops.
No, they're not allowed.
No,
those are closed.
We'll end it with this stuff. Price Gallagher had their stint in the Rocket. It was like rough off, like get off the dust. Who cares? We just want the playoffs to start. What I do want to mention before we go here though is, and by the way, if they push it to 6, that should be some goddamn incentive for this team so we can get some fans and like some chanting. That'd be freaking sick. Though it's going to be difficult for Montreal to push it to 6 if they don't play their best players. And so Dominic Ducharme has this sort of thing, and apparently all the coaches and Marc Bergevin had a similar lineup to start the playoffs. And basically what that means is the third line would have Corey Perry, Josh Anderson. That's pretty good so far. But the third line center would be Eric Stahl. Top 6 wingers, the Deneau line is back in touch because it looks like everyone's healthy. Weber was shooting today, so that's really good. Top line, Deneau, Gallagher, Tatar. We love to see it. Great line. The second line, Suzuki, Toffoli. That's pretty good. Yoel Armia. Fourth line, Evans, Lehkonen, Byron. Good line. So out of that, you all of a sudden realize that the Habs are not going with Jesperi Kotkaniemi or Cole Caulfield. On the defense, with Weber being back, it has somehow pushed out Alexander Romanov, and John Merrill will come in. I will remind you that the general manager of the Montreal Canadiens last year said, if not for the signing rules, Romanov was ready to play last year, and they burned the first year of his ELC to do that. I will also remind you that Stahl, Armia, and Merrill will all probably be gone in the summer. This is all in the excuse of experience. And Dark Ducharme says, trust me, if things don't go well game 1, we're changing things up.
I don't trust you.
No.
I'm going to say that.
That's a separate issue.
I believe that he will make the changes. We all know what he's like with line changes. It's going to happen. I just don't like the idea of, hey, there. He said Caulfield needs to practice. Shut up.
Isn't it concerning? Like, I thought it was really interesting that Romanov isn't in, but it's also more concerning to me that it wasn't just Ducharme who had this lineup. It's like, okay, you know who your best players are, right? Like, why isn't Kotkaniemi in? Like, he was one of the bright spots in that series against Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And you're not going to play him in game one. Caulfield has been a bright spot since he's joined the team, and you're not going to play him. So
the stuff that I'll say here is I don't see that there's an excuse why Caulfield's not playing or Romanov. Now, Ducharme had this quote about saying with Kotkaniemi, it's like you're trying to bang a nail in, but sometimes the nail can go off straight and you're either going to break it or and how there wasn't a lot of practice. I can get that, but even that was a bit of a stretch because like you get it. But young centerman, however, like no, I get it. Like I really do. That's all I'm going to give him credit for, though. I don't see an excuse why Caulfield's not playing. I really can't see it because when he was first called up to the team, he didn't play right away because he was practicing. Romanov has played all year and has not just done that. He's played pro hockey for years before this in Russia. I don't understand it. Like, I get experience, but at the same time, you are. I don't think Eric Stahl is a full-time NHLer anymore. It doesn't make sense to me.
With Kotkaniemi, is it a matter of like rest? Like I mistook the quote, but it seemed like he was saying that Kotkaniemi was tired because he's played every single game this season, right?
I'll double check, but I can't remember many games, if any, that he was out for.
And I'm like, but Montreal last played last Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So that'll be a week and a half.
Well, yeah. Well, don't forget they were the team that played more than anyone else, and he did play.
No, I know, but I'm saying like you have a full week and a half. I don't know, unless I mistook the quote for saying he hasn't been playing well and he needs to take a step back and watch. If that's the point he's trying to make, then I guess. But if it's a matter of rest, I get that's been the busiest schedule, which again, Toronto played on Friday. Whatever scheduling, I don't want to get into it, but it's been a week and a half.
Well, no, I didn't think it was a tired thing. I think it was a bad habit thing.
Okay. That
towards the end of the year, because like, let me say this, him and Stahl were not either great at the end of the year. It's just the thing with Stahl is like at his age, you expect him not to rebound anymore. When Jesper, you would think so. That's where I would be like, okay, like I can give you the benefit with Jesper. And again, like there is this thing of the Habs have had no practice time. And as much as we made fun of the Canucks, once they got later into the season, they weren't as disastrous. And we talked about it with Dubois. He will be better with the Jets next year once he has a camp under him, right? Do I think Ducharme has had the great opportunity to succeed? No, because he took over mid-season. And don't forget how dumb the start of Montreal season where it was like road trip, 2 weeks off, a few more games, bye week. And then they were just screwed for the rest of the year. However, I don't like these decisions going into the play because I get experience, but it's just you're just taking away from all the quality you could have. And I mean, Josh Anderson's a fast player, sure he is. This is a fact. It's just I don't like the thing of by the time he catches up, by the time him and Stahl and Corey Perry catch up to Anderson in the other zone, Ilya Mikheyev's going to be going the other way. Like, that's what I am worried about. And, like, the series is obviously going to tighten up because it's the playoffs. It's just I cannot – you can give me all this crap about experience or whatever. I do not understand a team that can't score sitting this young goal scorer who has scored at every level, whether it is postseason, regular season, best-on-best competition. And I don't get getting rid of a young defenseman who can skate when you don't have many of those. It's him and Petrie. It is odd. You're sacrificing, two players that address major needs for you against a team that, with the Leafs, that are the exact opposite, is that they have all the skating defense you can need and they score it well.
Yeah, it's just like when you look at a team like Toronto, where again the emphasis on everyone coming back has been depth. It's just the way I see Montreal is like to fight back against that. Wouldn't you want to get the most out of these guys that have already shown, in a small sample size or even throughout the season that they can handle the responsibility. Like I love Eric Stahl. I love Eric Stahl. I've always liked him. And the fact is, like, he's shown already what he can do in this limited role, what he's been able to do, like, since, he was putting up 70 points or so with Minnesota, that it's just not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with the Paul Byron edition there, where I know the whole leadership, he's a fan favorite guy, he could play the bottom six, but I don't know.
Those are two very different scenarios.
I know. It's just
Byron's actually good.
I'm thinking of like a right winger that you would put Cole Caulfield in. Because like the way I see Montreal's fourth line, it's a very traditional line. Like, I'm gonna be biased here. I'm gonna look at Minnesota's fourth line, where they're playing someone like Nico Sturm, who also, like, he's a late bloomer, but he's also an NCAA guy.
Yeah.
But that's what they've been able to do against the Golden Knights, is that they've been able to roll out four lines who they believe in. Because if we're going to use the experience example, Zach Parise has not played in the playoffs yet, and he's healthy.
I understand that, but I don't think you take Byron out because it's more than just leadership with him. Does he score like he used to? No. But that line is going to outwork anyone else. I would rather you take out a Yoel Armia, because at the end of the day, if you want Caulfield in, you need a centerman that can get him the puck. And do I like Evans and Lehkonen with that? Yes, but I don't want to take Byron out. He's too useful a player in the sense of if you want to have a really good comparable here, would you take Ilya Mikheyev out right now? No, you wouldn't, because he gets scoring chances, he's fast, he can't finish, and he's a good penalty killer. That's Paul Byron. You don't get rid of the Swiss Army knife player like that. I would rather get rid of a Yoel Armia, who is very much a on and off player, where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to get from him every night. If he's good, sweet, he'll be good for this series, but he'll be bad for the rest of the playoffs. I don't know if Byron's the right guy to take out there. And again, it's weird. Whenever you have like Lehkonen and Evans, they're good, and you just kind of put whoever there. It's just not Byron, man. No, don't do that. Don't, like, Stahl doesn't have anything left in the tank anymore. It's bad. I think that's it, though, eh? I think we're good.
I think so.
Okay. Everyone, go on Twitter, see if we're missing anything. See if, for some reason, Max Pacioretty's been traded for Jack Eichel because Vegas don't care how anything works. And we'll see. Paul Maurice confirms Dubois or wait, what? Oh, no Dubois and Ehlers in game one for Winnipeg. That's a real shame. And did you guys know that Lando Norris has re-signed with McLaren? That's pretty cool.
I did know.
Congrats.
Yeah, that's good. Good for him. He's pretty good.
Let's go.
All right. Predators have a different lineup for game two tonight. Coach John Hines said he did not elaborate other than to say that some changes will be performance-based and others might be health-related. So, yeah, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Minnesota Wild, the Nashville Predators, the Carolina Hurricanes. We love hockey, and they do too on most days. So, I believe that's everything.
Yes.
Someone's shaking their head at me, and I would wish they would text me so I'm not disrupting the show.
Oh, I thought it was us. I'm like, I'm not shaking my head. Am I bobbling?
Oh, congratulations to Haley Wickenheiser.
Yeah.
Dr. Wickenheiser.
Yes.
That's pretty sick. That and
that's cool.
Her new role in the Leafs. First off, good hire as in diversity in the front office. Second of all, she's a freaking. Let me find a Sid 60 tweet actually quickly. As you guys talk about good old Haley Wickenheiser.
Yeah, I think she's been with the team for a couple years now, or a few years now, and she's been doing her, PhD in kind of behind the scenes. Like, everyone kind of knew about it, but she wasn't very vocal about it until recently.
Just too humble.
So from Sit60, Haley Wickenheiser is a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, a 7-time world champion, is a Hockey Hall of Famer, is a member of the Leafs Player Development, is a member of the Order of Canada, a leader in COVID-19 relief efforts, a doctor, and is an absolute beast. And I saw someone here say, the Wayne Gretzky of women's hockey, and then someone says, meh, he's not even the doctor. Which I thought was pretty sick. That's awesome, man. I think the Devils made a new hire too, didn't they? I want to see if I can quickly find that. New Jersey Devils hire.
As you can tell, we really love the New Jersey Devils.
Megan Duggan.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Let's see it. Let me see if I can find.
She played for the States as well, didn't she?
Manager, player development within our hockey operations department for the New Jersey Devils. This was
love it.
4 hours ago.
And and then you started asking the question. You know what? I think if any team is like the first to have any sort of female like GM, AGM, assistant coach, I'm taking a bet it's Seattle, by the way, just because the way they're going. Them or Toronto, probably. But sweet. I mean, let's go. You love to see it. Now I think
to see this.
I think that is everything though. Now we have been hitting the mic. I think we are done. We have gone for
almost 2 hours. Why did I say 4 hours?
I don't know.
Because that's secretly how long you want to go for.
Look for a TikTok. We're doing some of that soon.
Yes.
Goodbye.